So, Gunnar Nelson, after a great win at UFC London, back in the octagon after all this time out, coming down off the high of it now, how are you feeling about the experience on Saturday night?
Yeah, I feel great. It's always nice to win. And I was like, as I was walking out, of course, I was really happy, but I was a little bit pissed at myself for not finishing the fight. Felt
Mhm.
like I was dominating the fight, and I should have gotten the finish. I feel, but like I give Takashi as well a lot of credit. He was very tough, and I was really trying to get him with the choke, and I like to think I'm pretty good with this choke, but he wouldn't have it. Um, so I give Takashi credit as well, a lot of credit, as well as for taking the fight in 2 weeks' notice.
Given the way that the night went, with so many finishes, so many, big moments from like British people who were on the card and stuff, I think it's probably fair to say that wasn't like a statement win, like the kind of win that like puts the division on notice or anything. But I do think it's the kind of victory where if I were a welterweight on the periphery of the top 15, I would, and they offered me to fight you, I would say no after watching that. I wouldn't want to fight you after seeing that. Do you know what I mean?
hmm Yeah, I mean, a lot of people after the fight told me that this fight looked just so dominating that it
Yeah.
was like better than a quick finish or whatever for me. Just 3 round of uh, like I guess a bit of a mauling, if you would.
Mhm.
So yeah.
It was pretty much like three rounds that you could easily have scored 10-8. Like just dominance from start to finish. A really a strong performance, and of course that grappling has not left you over these years that you've been out of the cage. It's still as strong as ever.
Yeah, I mean, I've been training, and the grappling, the jiu-jitsu level back home is very high.
Mhm.
We don't have many MMA fighters, not in my weight, uh, which has been the problem for the last few years, those COVID years, because I usually need to go somewhere or get somebody to come over to Iceland for sparring and stuff.
Mhm.
But the jiu-jitsu level is really high, so kept myself well.
When's the last time you were actually in Ireland at SPG?
I went this camp.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, I was there a
Right,
couple of weeks.
it was it must have been good to kind of get back to that facility and be on the ground with John. And like you say, when you talk about a wealth of particularly at welterweight or middleweight or lightweight or whatever around your weight, a lot of really really high level guys to be working with in that gym.
Yeah, and there was a lot of new people there that I haven't seen before. Obviously, I haven't been
Mhm.
there for like over 2 years
Yeah.
or 3 years. I can't remember. So there's a lot of new people there, and I was really enjoying the vibes. There's a lot of good guys there, and they have guys in every. They're good in every area. They have good grapplers, good strikers. There was a lot of good strikers there actually this time around. So the team is really evolving a lot since I've been there and like a couple of years ago. I really enjoyed it. I get a lot out of it every time I go there.
But you've
And
been
obviously
around.
being
You've been
being around my
around.
coach,
Oh, sorry.
John.
Continue.
Yeah, being around John Kavanagh is always very good because he just, like I've said before, he just has an eye for this. He's been with me from the start. He knows my game really well. So training with him and training under him, his surveillance is super beneficial for me.
I think after the Johnny Walker fight, he came in for a bit of criticism, and of course, after Connor's fight last summer, similar. I think anytime that like a big high profile fight doesn't go his way, he gets a lot like I think more criticism than your average coach does after someone loses. Right, he gets just like really bad. But how have you found working with him, and do you think that people are a little unfair on John whenever a high profile result doesn't go his way?
Uh, well, I don't spend a lot of time online
Mhm.
looking at tweets and stuff, so I don't really know all the criticism he gets. But he's a great coach, man. And if you're around him enough as well, and if he gets some time to work with you, I think he can help anyone. And he look what he's done with the gym and with the team and stuff. And I look what like where he started and where he is now. He's a phenomenal coach. There's no doubt about that. And I know for me personally, he's helped me so much. There's been a few. I don't even know if he remembers or knows these things, but there's been a few pointers that he's given me that have been like complete change in my game throughout the years from the start. And yeah, I'll never forget it, and he's still like that. There's like these tiny, often for fighters, there's these tiny details or tiny corrections or even just changes, small changes of things, in your game and in your approach to a fight that can change you completely or change a fight or whatever. And he has an eye for that.
And even like physically, like you were there at the very beginnings of the SPG days when they were in the shed, I think, out in Dublin, and now they've got this huge facility. I mean, physically, it's just like it's completely different now than how it was when you started.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been in a few gyms in Ireland. We started off when I arrived. We were in Rackpool
Mm-hmm.
in a small gym. Uh, bunch of strong, tough guys, but the technique maybe wasn't not at the level that it is today and stuff. But it was more like, you know, strong meathead kind of vibe, and people just going at each other. And
Yeah,
I mean, I loved it at the time, and everybody was loving it. And uh, then we it evolved, and the competition team became great. We had a good few old school. It was me, Connor, Carl Pendred, Chris Fields, Peter Queeley. These are
yeah.
kind of the guys that started. Phil Mulpeter, uh, yeah, and a good few others that like I can't remember at the
That's an
moment, but
underrated fighter, Philip Mulpeter. People don't talk about him enough. He's a
yeah,
really
yeah,
really
yeah,
talented guy.
yeah. He's great. Phil is great. He's super super tough, and it's like in any aspect of the game, he's tough. We used to spar a lot for fights, and he helped me out a ton. For a good few of my UFC fights as well. Great sparring partner as well, and a very nice human being.
Yeah, one of the
he's
best, one of the
and
best
he's as tough as they come.
for sure. It's yeah, it's fascinating. So, are you going to spend much more time here, or are you going to base yourself back in Iceland now for the foreseeable?
Well, yeah, I'll be based in Iceland, but I'm definitely gonna come over as much as I can.
And it's a lot easier now than it was a couple of years ago, right? Now that the pandemic's pretty much over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, when you had to quarantine for like 14 days before you could do something, and then quarantine again when you're going back, it was just like, and then even the gym, you didn't know if it was going to be open or
Yeah.
what was the story, who's training and what. But yeah, I'll be over plenty now.
I'm not sure. You probably, I think, if I'm getting my times right, you would have been doing your post-fight media right around the time that your pal Thor Bjornsson was walking into the ring on Saturday night. Did you get to watch his fight? What did you think of it?
Yeah, I watched the fight after. Obviously, I knew the outcome before watching the fight, but it was it
Mm.
was it was an exciting fight. It was a very good fight. I thought Hafthor did really well. He looked slick. To be honest, he was and and fair play to Eddie as well. He played it well. He was kind of it was a tough style that he was doing. He was playing that kind of Marciano style. He was kind of leaning hard and swinging hard as well. He was
Yeah.
playing his uh, his reach disadvantage well. So props to Eddie as well. He played his part really well, and but Hafthor was just a better man and a better boxer.
Are you and Hafthor friends again now after the injury?
We never stopped being friends. I mean, we're not like I don't hang out with Hafthor on regular basis, but
Right.
we were still friends. We never stopped being friends.
I suppose these things happen, right? Because he was it was when you were working with him that you picked up the injury that kept you out for a while.
Yeah, yeah, we did that match, and it was my fault really. I was I was kind of excited to try certain things, see if if it was like physically possible to get a guy like that with an armbar from the bottom, and it wasn't a good strategy. Obviously, I knew that coming in, but I was just curious if it was physically possible for me to do that. And then he ended up sprawling on me as I was kind of sideways underneath, going for an arm, and my rib cage just folded.
Yeah. And so now you are fit and healthy again. You performed unbelievably on Saturday night. What's the timeline for getting back? Do you want to be as active as possible this year?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely. I'm not waiting 2.5 years to fight again. That's for sure. So we'll see. Maybe late summer or after the summer or something.
Given where like the likes of say like Leon Edwards or whatever is who you fought recently and had a good fight with, like do you think top 15 is who your next opponent should be?
Yeah, I said like I'll fight anybody. I don't care who. It doesn't matter. I'm not really. I don't have a fixed mind of on somebody particular. I just wanna. I'll just get in there and fight whoever.
Last one for me. I want to know. It just announced this morning, I believe. We talked about him a little bit. Peter Queally fighting the former UFC lightweight champion Benson Henderson. I want to get your
Hmm.
thoughts on the fight and will Peter do it in Dublin?
Yeah, I heard that last night actually. I'm super excited. It's a great fight. It's a great fight, and I think it's a good fight for Peter as well. It's gonna be a tough one, but Peter is an animal, and he's improved so much in the last couple of years or few years, uh, and I'm very happy for him. This is a high profile fight for him.
It's the kind of fight that you guys would have been talking about back in those Rathcool gym days, right? Because he would have been the champion in the UFC at the time.
Yeah, exactly. He was at the top of the world for a year or something, and now Peter is getting a chance to beat him up.
Thank you so much for your time, Gunnar. Will you be at that fight?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That'd be nice. All right. Well, I look forward to speaking to you again very soon, and thank you so much for your time.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.